You're on the show, right, Key? He's such a silly kitty. Hi, kitties. Hi, kitties.
We're live.
Oh, we're live already?
Yeah!
Y'all infidels were burning witches tonight. Not even Smokey the Bear is going to be able to save your ancestors this time, you stupid moron.
Someone in the comments picked him with a Band-Aid. That was good. I'm sorry, that was fucking good. Anyways.
Well, that's my job as a woman, I think, first and foremost. And then as a writer, I got to maintain some level of like, making sure that you know your place.
Everything that they've done since claiming the PS5 is for hardcore gamers. It's just simply appealed to the casuals.
That's about it. Follow me on Twitter. Preserve film, just like preserving video games. I don't know.
Hunter! What's up? In the White House? Seriously?
Well, Marvel and what Stan Lee, I think, I don't know if it was genius or laziness. It's like, we'll just put them all in one city. We won't even make up a fictionless and we'll just use new.
Here the night, what you got coming up for tomorrow?
I'm perfectly sober.
Lies.
Thank you.
Are you home? Do you have children? Must not you be their hope? Are there future generations from all of us who have failed them?
And the mom shaming, a term typically used to highlight harsh judgment of birthing people.
Fuck these stupid
Who wrote this shit? Who wrote this shit?
Wrote.
Hello. How's it going, everyone? We are back here for episode 77 of the Ballroom Podcast. Now, I'm joined with a bunch of people whose faces you probably should remember from previous shows. They've been on a bunch of them by now. And we'll start off with Orange Christmas hat reviews. How you doing today, Orange?
Merry fucking Christmas.
With the hoodie that you're wearing, it almost looks like from this angle that you have hair. If you squinting just enough, it almost looks like you have long flowing hair.
Yeah, Merry fucking Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too. Also joining us here today, our good buddy Cider, who's now basically in full control of Bounding in the Comics YouTube channel. How's it going there, Cider?
Just fine. Didn't think that was how that was going to go, but I do have long flowing hair. You see? I do.
Yeah. Your hair is definitely authentic. So there we go. Also joining us here, our longest reigning commenter podcast guest host person here in Barroom history, Cassie. How you doing tonight, Cass?
Awesome. I had gotten zero sleep from making all sorts of GTA 6 content after the trailer dropped, and yeah, I just woke up like a half hour ago and ate dinner very quickly just to be here. So
nice. That sounds like a healthy sleep schedule.
Good morning.
Very much so. Thank you. Good
and
evening.
Then returning to our show is our very own residential Abby Shapiro. Nerdigans is here with us here tonight as well. How you doing, Nerdigans?
And she's muted.
You're muted, by the way.
Kitty. I'm doing good, and so is the kitty. And as you guys saw, I got a couple of new avatars thanks to one of my subscribers, which is really awesome. the channel banner and my Twitter profile banner are next. Just got to find someone to do it.
Righteous.
I just took a SWAT cat template and just slapped my avatar on it that I had someone make.
I thought that sentence was going in a completely different direction, so I'm glad it ended there.
Hey, yo!
Metacats, awesome, dude. Metallic hats, they're awesome, dude.
Hell yeah, they're some of my favorite villains in cartoons. Bonnie and Clyde, baby.
I guess we should go ahead and introduce our guys who are slowly trickling into the chat with us here tonight. Neozoic is back here saying, howdy barroom crew and the good folks in the chat. Fun question, which classic black and white Christmas movie would you rather watch, Miracle on 34th Street or It's a Wonderful Life? I'm a mark for It's a Wonderful Life, but I'll shoot this one over to you guys, starting with you, Orange. Which one would you prefer?
Yep.
That's great. Cider,
It's
which
a
one would you
Wonderful
prefer?
Is there an audio delay with him, or is it my internet?
Yeah, it's audio. He has a bit of audio delay.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, crap, my internet's bad. Yeah, I'm good with A Wonderful Life, dude. I'm a sucker for that bridge scene. Who hasn't been there?
Yeah.
We used to be a proper country.
It's a Wonderful Life is like a really great choice, but I have to go with Miracle on 34th Street just because I love Natalie Wood and it's so cute seeing her as a little kid. So
Yeah, I'm a sucker for Miracle on 34th Street. I used to watch that movie all the time on VHS.
Yeah. So I think it's safe to say that, if you're a man, you like Miracle on 34th. I mean, on Wonderful Life. If you're a woman, you like Miracle on 34th Street. So there you go. That's
how it's split.
Yep. Bonus question here. Which Christmas animated TV special would you rather watch? A Charlie Brown Christmas or Dr. Seuss How the Grinch Stole Christmas? I'm picking Charlie Brown all day because I'm just not that big of a Dr. Seuss
these are
fan.
tough choices, man.
That's not fair.
It
I
really
love
is.
them.
They're really both amazing movies. I have to go with the Grinch because the Grinch is like my favorite character, Christmas related character. He's the fucking goat, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I'm down with
soundtrack
that.
is such a classic too. Oh,
It
that
is.
bass clarinet going. Oh.
Grinch.
Grinch from Orange Hat. So I'm gotta go with Charlie Brown here. To me, that's just kind of a no-brainer, but I'll leave it at that.
Bye, Orange Hat.
Yeah, Orange Hat's gonna try to recycle his audio there. He'll be back in a second. Vanya saying hello, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Who else we have here? Duke Nukem has a question of his own. Which alien would you rather fight, the Predator or the Bioraptor from Pitch Black? Now, that's a deep fried reference there, going all the way back to Pitch Black. But I would have to say the Predator because, I mean, if a 14-year-old Native American girl can beat the Predator, then I think I might have a pretty good shot, right? If that's where we're at.
Yeah. It took Vin Diesel to beat
At least
Bioraptor, right?
I mean, I'm aware of the Predator, but I don't know the other option. So whichever is the least hard to kill.
It's not a very familiar option. Who else do we have joining us here tonight? Retro Neon also joining us here on the show here tonight. A few people are noticing avatars Nerdigan's new avatar, I should say. Who else is here? JC here saying he's also going with Wonderful Life. So yeah, it seems like all the men have made their choice here. Charlie Brown, he's also going with that one as well. So there's a nod for the Charlie Brown. DK joining us here tonight saying that Brie Larson can't draw a dime. Yeah, we'll get that later on here in the show. Kate joining us.
Can't
back
even
here
buy a
from the
dime.
show last night. Well, like I said, we'll get to that later as well. And then, like I said, we're here on Rumble. We got people on Twitter as well. Then we're here on YouTube. So I guess before we get started here with the show and all of the content, I guess I should address some love letters that we received during last week's show. And by love letters, I mean hate mail. There was some hate mail that was being directed towards us, more specifically towards Rick. I mean, there was a few messages about Rick last week. Here's what happened. Last week we started off the show talking about pro wrestling for about 30 minutes, and then we just kind of went into a diatribe about Doctor Who for like 30 to 40 minutes. And my thought process was, well, I did talk about wrestling for 30 minutes at the start of the show, where like me and Cassie and like Rob kind of are like the only people who know anything about wrestling whatsoever. So I was like, you know what? Let the peasants have their Doctor Who. I won't go ahead and interrupt them. However, there was one guy who wrote on the barroom chat last night saying that Rick's monologues are getting longer and longer. Suggestion: put Rick on pause after he repeats a point for the third time. So yeah, not a very happy Rick fan there. So here's what I have decided. I have made a decision, and Rick is not here yet, but I figured for the sake of the show, because I listen to the fans, that whenever Rick goes on to a diatribe, more specifically when you hear him say the words, "Who is the target audience for this?" I'll just simply play this. And then throughout the course of the argument, he'll have several seconds to finish what he's saying before he eventually drowns.
Having Vietnam flashbacks, man. Jeez.
So yeah, that would be how we go with the show tonight. It said JC's got Rick got hate mail and I didn't send it. I know, shocker. It's actually somebody beat you to the punch there. The bio rapper is an alien that uses sight and sound, only comes at night. Yeah, I would definitely go with the one that the 14-year-old Indian girl beat. I think that's a pretty safe assumption there. But outside of that, I think we can go ahead and get this show started. I guess we should start off with what everyone is apparently talking about right now, GTA 6. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, hasn't it been like almost 20 years since the last GTA game came out? Like, hasn't it been like quite a while? It feels like it's been forever.
I think it was like 2014 that GTA 5 and online came out. I think it was 2014.
Yeah, because 4 came out in 2008.
We'll just Google
and
it.
And then 5 came out and it came out like I think in like 2011 or was it 2014?
Oh, it was Gran Turismo. Sorry, that's the wrong one. There.
Yeah, 2010 was Grand Theft Auto 5.
2013.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah. 2013 was Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
I remember 2004 because I was working at GameStop at the time, and I worked the midnight release. And
yeah,
it was fun, and I got paid.
Can you
remember
imagine?
I didn't get paid extra money for gas because I had to drive to a different store at the time. So because of that, I was part of a class action lawsuit and got extra money for it.
All right.
Do you still have your plaid GameStop shirt, or did you get rid of it?
I didn't get a GameStop shirt for Grand Theft Auto. I didn't for that one. Which was weird. They should have given us one for Grand Theft Auto, but no. This was at the time before they had us wear jerseys. Yeah, they didn't have us wear like jerseys and jeans and stuff until I think later in 2008, 2009-ish. Yeah, something like that.
Well, the trailer came out for GTA 6 and it's out, so I guess we can go ahead and watch it and react it with everyone else and see why.
You can't watch it. Copyright
all.
Music. Tom Petty.
Just turn it down.
Yeah, we'll just watch.
Okay,
the
mute it.
They don't say anything important in it.
Mm-hmm.
Go do crime and be sexy.
They literally
while you do it.
There's no dialogue in here, so you're not missing anything.
Yeah.
No, turn.
What'd you do, Jacob?
I literally just turned it off and it reset itself.
It's like, no, you will hear Tom Petty.
Yeah,
you
right.
will listen. I mean, this is pre-rendered. This is pre-rendered, but it looks great.
Yeah, I'm glad they went back to Vice City.
I'm surprised they didn't give us any normally they tell us if it's in-game or if it is pre-rendered.
Well, you could tell the in-game stuff. Like these overhead shots are clearly pre-rendered. This looks in-game. That looks pre-rendered.
Nowadays, look, it's Rockstar. They're the forefronts of pushing gaming forward, believe it or not. Because sometimes I wonder, but they do insane shit, and I will say it is likely that it's probably in-game, but I won't say for sure because we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think about the social media aspect in here?
Well, see, I like this. I think this is very clever because they had the record function for a long time in GTA Online. So it would take like the last 30 seconds, last 10 seconds of your gameplay and record that from any angle you like. You can go in an editor and even do it. Now this is taken even to a higher level. You can have there's a social media built into this. You can edit videos inside of GTA, post it to a social media that's inside GTA.
Coming in
bonkers.
2025.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the biggest disappointment, man. I was hoping to see it come around, late next year, but it is what it is, I guess.
It's basically a Marvel movie. You'll get it in like 2026, maybe.
PC might not get it until 2026 or 2027, which is really suspicious. I know PC, they usually get it later, or in the past they got it later. But the thing is, for me, especially when I saw on Twitter, someone pointed out that they bought a PC company. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. And especially with technology nowadays, you'd think they'd have a day one release for PC with with PS5 and an Xbox. There's no reason now not to have it. I'd understand like if it was in the PS2, the PS3, and maybe even the PS4 era, fine. You can make the argument that PC would come out later. But now, no, there's no excuse for this. None. Unless there's something shady. I know the tinfoil hatness coming out of me, but unless they're trying to pull something against modders, there's no excuse for this, man.
Well, so I was going to hit to you here, Cassie, because like I said, your guys are much closer to the video game sphere than I am right now. So you have more of it, especially with all the content you're doing, you would have more of it know about what the reaction about this trailer. It seems like everyone's just absolutely freaking out over this thing, even though it's still a couple years away. So what's your general reaction to GTA 6 here based on the trailer?
It is pretty insane. The reaction, I mean, just what went down. I mean, it was supposed to premiere at 9 a.m. today, but it got leaked out like 15 hours prior, so they just said fuck it and dropped it. So that was like a massive explosion just on that alone. And to me, it looks clearly better than GTA 5 in a lot of different aspects, and it does suck that it's not coming to PC. It's I don't know, man. That's a big L for Rockstar, but they know that most people on PC that really want to play this game, which a lot of people are going to, they know that they're going to end up buying a console. Thankfully, I buy everything, so I don't really have an issue with this. I would have liked to play it on my preferred platform, which is indeed PC, but as long as what I'm concerned with is there is if there's like cross progression. If I could play on my PlayStation 5 and then in a year when the PC version comes out, can I just log into my Rockstar account and all my shit still be there? That to me is fine. I could live with that because, well, I have no self-control and I'm going to buy a GTA 6 day one for better or for worse. But it is a huge explosion on the internet. People are saying all sorts of shit. They're excited. Some people are talking shit. I've covered a lot of the stupid shit talk that's been going on so far. Apparently this has triggered people that having the whole Palestine Israel thing, and people who are super into discussing that. Apparently this game has triggered some of them over there. It's like, can y'all relax? This is video games, like war video games, like two completely different scenarios. I would like to keep them separate from each other. Like, very, very weird, but overall it's exciting.
Sorry, are you asking the internet, can you please not? Like, do you understand what you're asking from the internet?
Yeah, a losing battle there, but either way, I think the biggest takeaway from this for me is that everyone's going to look at all these games coming out from here until 2025 a different way. Like, y'all looking like this selling your game for $70, but GTA 6 look like that. That's what a lot of people I think are going to be saying low key.
Well, we were discussing in the DM, Cassie, about how about like exclusive marketing that Sony's probably going to get the deal like in years past, and that there's probably going to be something with like the PS5 Pro, like a console bundle and stuff like that. That's probably going to be the case, and maybe that's why people are going to wait and buy. And this is why Rockstar's waiting to release a PC version, is because of that too.
Could be. I mean, I don't think so. I think Rockstar just doesn't really give a fuck about the PC platform. They never have. Um, GTA 4 runs like dog shit. Doesn't matter how many generations later it's come out. Like the only place GTA 4 runs well on PC is if you have Linux. So on my Steam Deck, runs perfectly fine. On my PC, for some reason, GTA 4 does not work well. So they have never given a fuck about the PC platform. GTA 5 came out for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, and they didn't bother to attribute any of those upgrades to the PC version of the game. So I think it's just they don't really care very much, and they know they're gonna, rake up money anyway. So there's no incentive for them to earn anything or care. But I mean, if it's between getting a garbage PC port day one or them releasing a good PC port a year afterwards, because GTA 5's PC port is really well done. So I'd rather have that than a garbage day and date port. But really, Microsoft and PlayStation behind the scenes have been fighting for the marketing rights. It's gonna go to the highest bidder. I think the main reason why I think PlayStation would feel like they would get it is because they just lost Activision Blizzard. They need a real boost to their marketing of the PS5. But at the same time, I feel like Microsoft is desperate to validate the Xbox platform since it's been kind of stagnant. And I feel as though whoever genuinely, like, GTA 6 is so important to gaming that whoever gets the marketing rights to this game will see a significant boost in their sales, like significant above anything else. I think that Activision Blizzard deal for Microsoft is not really nearly as much of a grab as getting GTA 5 is, and whoever gets this marketing deal is going to likely win the console war this generation.
Neo here says that apparently the collector's edition is going to be $200. I mean, hell, the regular video games now are what, like $70-$80 now?
It's going to be more than that. Standard collector's editions now go for about $200. You're looking at least $300 to $500 for a collector's edition, whatever that is. There's no confirmation. There's zero confirmation on it. But if like minor, like okay collector's editions go for $200. Normally the ones that are pretty decent tend to now go for $250, $300. So that's what it is. Inflation, baby. It's gonna suck if you're really looking for that. But I mean, at least I hope that it's worth it. I hope that they offer at least like an amazing statue. Like, I would love to see a statue personally with Lucia and Jason, the two main protagonists, like sitting on the car.
Oh, yeah, like the one that's on the poster, like have like a have a statue with the backdrop.
Yes,
that
like
would be so sick.
Fuck yeah! Just imagine a dope ass statue of that. Like, that would be absolutely awesome. I'm a broke bitch, so I wouldn't be able to get it, but I would consider doing some Grand Theft Auto and stealing it. I'm just saying.
This is modern video games. I remember when video games were like $40. Like, what happened to those days? What happened to?
Fuck, I remember when video games were 20.
Well, remember when video game journalism was a real thing, and they actually knew what Grand Theft Auto was, and that this isn't the first female protagonist, and that there are no heroes in Grand Theft Auto.
No, they were just better at sleeping with the writers beforehand before it all got exposed.
About a week ago,
someone blew it open for everyone.
About a week ago, Leaker posted a bunch of footage of playing GTA 6. A lot of footage came out of apparently a game tester was recording their screen or something like that. They were moving between levels, no loading screens, nothing like that. The NPCs weren't loaded in. They were just basically testing the engine, if you will, the rendering engine. And it looks fantastic. It really does. I was honestly very, very surprised. And this appeared to be the open world function. So you were outside of the campaign. So I thoroughly impressed with what I saw in just that, where this guy was like brute forcing moving across the map with code and things like that, not walking around like in a big area. So I was legitimately impressed with what I saw with this. At first I was annoyed that the female lead is supposed to be able to take on male characters in combat and melee stuff, but as they showed her and being in prison, she looks pretty beefy. I'm not gonna lie. She looks like a lady that could probably do an arm wrestling competition until the big guys showed up, you know? So You know, I'm not talking about the gal that's twerking. I'm talking about the one that's at the beginning in the prison. You know,
Lucia. Yeah,
yeah.
I actually like her. I think she's pretty cool. She has like that tomboy look to her.
Is that
honestly,
because she might be trans?
No.
That whole, you know where that spawned from? A fucking Reddit post from a year ago where 6 motherfuckers commented on it, and this dick face drama alert, whatever the fuck, like literally uses that to be like, oh hey, it's rumored that she's trans. 6 assholes on Reddit were on that topic.
Yep.
Like, are you fucking retarded?
The Magic 6.
One did, yeah. I was tweeting with some Grand Theft Auto fans about it too to confirm. But yeah, GTA 1 had female protagonists. So people that are saying that, oh, this is the first GTA female protagonist, no, they are wrong.
You know how many gaming news websites ran with that? Like, I caught like 5.
Salacious.
And then you have Game Radar saying that she's a hero. It's like, motherfucker, there are no heroes in Grand Theft Auto.
You're doing Grand Theft Auto wrong if you're the hero. But the other thing to remember about this is the GTA racing function. Now, I am really, really expecting a lot out of the GTA 6 online races. Because I don't know if you know this or not, but GTA races is an actual thing. People from around the world bet money against each other. They play like they max out the playlist. 16 in an 18-hour circuit. That's what they do. They do 16 different races in an 18-hour circuit. It's like a marathon thing. They race for money. It's a huge thing. GTA has one of the best racing games inside of it. It's one of the best racing games inside of it. It's beautiful. You can make tracks out of anything. They let you go in and like customize. You can make a racing track out of cargo containers. You can make a racing track out of cargo ships if you want. You can make them race over the top of submarines. It's a really, really, really genius racing game. It's in the middle of an online multiplayer open world thing. It's crazy. And I'm really expecting a lot out of this next time around. It's already amazing. So I have a feeling we're going to get more of that midnight club and more of that Gran Turismo in it this time around. They'll be probably doing more weapons mods and stuff. But that became a huge thing. There's whole YouTube channels dedicated to just GTA races.
I wonder with the social media function, if they're going to actually take advantage of that and
Vito.
Put it up in there and use it for the racing.
Can I just voice that I cannot stand O-face on the thumbnail? Like, it makes me want to vomit.
You mean soy face?
Oh God.
Is that Vito? It looks like Vito.
Everyone looks like Vito these days.
Well, once you're over 300, that's a point. Yeah, you got a point there. Once you're over 300, everybody looks like Vito. But yeah, well, again, like the soy face thing. I mean, I just wish they'd make like the Ahiago face to react to things. Like they jizzed in their pants, like they're doing the Ahiago face. So I'm saying it wrong, but
we get the picture. Yeah, I mean, look, I've heard some things that are kind of concerning about Rockstar the last few years, but I know this is a game that's been worked on forever, and I mean, I don't know at this point. It feels like there's been so much hype and anticipation for this game that it can only disappoint with this much hype. Like you wonder if it can actually even deliver what people want. Like I said, this is a game people have been waiting on for well over a decade. I think it's about, by the time this game comes out, it would have been anywhere between like 14, 15 years. So it has a lot of hype to live up to. And whether it actually does that or not, I have to see more than just that 90-second trailer that was written together. Like I need to see actual gameplay, if they're going to have the glitches together. Because I mean, look, it wasn't that long ago everyone was super hyped about Cyberpunk, and then everyone found out how that ended. It did not go well.
To be fair, Cyberpunk now is actually a really good game. Like it's a shame that they
several years later.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I mean, at least there's a happy ending for people that were anticipating it. It is a genuinely good game now. Very impressive, especially if you're playing on PC with path ray tracing involved. Game looks absolutely insane. As close to real life as gaming has gotten thus far. But I mean, you know, the Hauser brothers have left, you know, Rockstar, so that is a big concern in regards to writing. But I mean, look, GTA is a satiristic representation of whatever time period that it takes place in. This is modern times. So I expect to see that. But I mean, the fans tend to just make GTA their own, at least in regards to online. I've seen the modding community and certain certain communities do role play, and I hear that this is going to be more role play friendly if you're into GTA online role play. So I think that in some ways it's going to genuinely impress me, like especially from a technological standpoint, and just them thinking outside of the box and introducing these new concepts, like with the social media. In some ways, I don't think it's going to be as funny as GTA in the past, but to be honest, GTA 5 was trying to be so fucking funny that I didn't find it funny. So that's the thing. So I'm interested to see this attempt and see how that turns out.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
I just wanted to point out, have you played the GTA roleplay servers, Cassie? The ones you have to pay to play? Okay, so there's servers you have to pay to get on. I've played a little bit on them. Well, no, they actually employ people, Jacob, to play the NPCs. There are no player characters in this server. Everyone has a human attached to it. The guy falling and puking on himself on the corner has a human being controlling that. The cops that show up when you wreak havoc are human controlled. And they're not like Rockstar employees. They're employees of the server company running this. So it is a wild ride when you're out there on those things.
Well, real quick, speaking of NPCs, making his barroom debut here on the program here, our good friend Eddie Brock is here on the show. How you doing today, Eddie?
Howdy.
Oh.
I can't hear a thing.
He's very French.
Well, one of my boys.
We can hear you.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
You need to change your output.
The absolute disgusting imperialism that's going on to stop me from displaying my opinion about this game is unbelievable. I can't believe that anyone would try to stop me from saying this is an absolute amazing, fantastic game. I can't wait until the Latin Revolution comes in the form of GTA 6 and makes everyone realize that we are the kings of this world and we are the ones who are supposed to control everything, including Miami.
Can we just give you Miami? You can just have that. We just give it to you. It's not.
At least South Miami. We'll give you South Miami. North, maybe we'll have to negotiate. But yeah, you can have anything like below the stadium.
Half the year, right? They can have it half the year.
Yeah.
You all can have the swamps.
How about this? You can have it during the 2 weeks of spring break because nobody wants to be there anyway. So
damn.
That's the time you can have it. There was some people out there complaining about, they're making everything the first. It's like, no, that's what Miami is now. I don't know when the last time you guys have been there. Maybe you haven't been in South Beach since like 2001, but
he's Eddie Guevara.
Absolutely. I'm going back to my ancestry roots of South American revolution. So,
if we're
going to be,
he's an ancestor from the 60s. Wow.
Well, I mean, he's an ancestor because that's what we call. Shut up, Cider.
Right, okay. Well, whatever. Busy, man. Whatever.
And now you're bringing me a Che Guevara problem. What's wrong with you?
Wait a second. If we're going to be authentic,
too hard.
If we're going to be authentic to Miami, shouldn't we be like Fidel Castro and not Che Guevara? Or
they worked together. They had a team up. They did a crossover event.
Yeah.
It was called the Cuban Revolution. It was a DLC.
I was about to say, don't ask the Cubans in South Beach how they feel about Fidel Castro. It's not
traitors.
If you have 45 minutes and a lot of like the ability to interpret speech, yeah, go ahead. But I guarantee you're going to get an earful.
Yeah, the word puto is going to be thrown in a lot during that conversation. Just a forewarning. There, so. Let's go ahead and jump over to our next topic here. We're gonna watch another trailer. We're doing back-to-back trailers.
Demonetization. All right.
I mean, Orange Hat's here. We're like the 80-20 shot. We're gonna get demonetized anyway. So I mean, you might as well just go all in on it.
Him and his Fed posting.
Yeah. Furiosa has a movie that's coming out. You guys remember the Mad Max movie that everyone pretended to love 10 years ago? People were saying like it was the greatest movie that they've ever seen in their entire lives, when it was literally just a movie where they drove to one location and then drove back for 2 hours.
Yeah.
It was Dude, Where's My Car, but with like a guy with a flamethrower guitar.
And the dude hugs on a hubcap, like what's his name from Toy Story 3?
Oh yeah.
Well, now they have a new movie coming out. This is a prequel that's going to focus on Charlize Theron's character of Furiosa, who's played by Anya Taylor-Joy, who has a very, very weird face, and she's not making that face any better over the course of the last few years. But Thor is also in this movie as well. So let's go ahead and just play the trailer for this film. I can pop it up over here, and then we can all watch and enjoy together. So
we could turn it down. That might help the demonetization.
Yeah, it's already.
Oh, okay.
40%.
We lost it already.
Yeah.
Promise me you'll find your way home.
So that's CGI.
Everything is CGI.
See. The yard taken from her family. She will devote the rest of her life to finding her way home. This is her odyssey.
This is her fight song.
Oh, so it takes place in Mexico. Neat.
I just want to pause it just right here, not for demonetizing purposes, but I just wanted to say this just as a standard. Whenever a trailer, especially the first trailer of a movie, is longer than 2 minutes long, they're showing you every good part of the movie. I just want you to that's the little trick here. When a trailer is longer than this, if the trailer is this long, they're giving you everything that's ever going to be good about this film. So just forewarning.
I do like Sami Zayn up here, though. It's pretty nice.
Spoiler,
okay,
Morton Joe wins.
Another thing, let me just back up here just to this little point here. I love how they led with her name as if she's like a Jean-Claude Van Damme style action star. It's like coming up soon, Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's like no, they like bold up the name of stars like Anya Taylor-Joy. It's like okay. Like she's not a
bitch a
star.
bag of bones. Like,
well,
how am I supposed to sit here and believe that she's capable of doing anything besides being in the fucking kitchen?
All I have to say is that if reptilian people do exist, she's probably one of them, and it wouldn't surprise me. So.
Well, I have to ask, like, couldn't they just take out Anya Taylor-Joy, just put like a little black box over there, and say a 12-year-old we found on the street?
I've been a better actor. Who knows?
I mean, that's basically her acting credit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
It's like The Handmaid's Tale. I understand what you're coming
No, literally The Handmaid's Tale with a hand. So if you didn't notice, Chris Hemsworth in that clip is hanging on with one arm. That means, and throughout this trailer, he's only been using his left hand, right? It was right, one of them anyway. He's only been using one hand. So that means that Furiosa gets her freaky robot hand from Chris Hemsworth, crazy eye party costume guy. Yeah, he's wearing one of those eye party noses. It's so fake. It's so gross and fake.
Yeah.
Is Anya gonna be involved in any form of combat, or is she like a stealth character? Because like this chick is a bag of bones. Like I'm not going to be even.
She gets her arm cut
go
off.
even further than this. This is the best that she's going to look throughout this entire film, because as you remember, the character that she's playing is pretty much buzz cut lesbian stand-in.
Missing an arm too.
Yeah, so enjoy it while you can, because it's only downhill from here.
Quite literally. Look.
Dune buggies.
CGI dune buggies. Oh, Naruto found his way in here. That's neat.
I'm Furiosa! Wingardium Furiosa!
See, it's a cross. You see the cross?
The question is...
Oh, nobody's got two arms. Never mind.
Do you have it in you to make it epic?
Well, I'm
remember
watching
her name.
No, my cat's not gonna remember her name because he fell asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
so yeah, that's the Mad Max film there that we just watched. So I guess we should go ahead and ask Rick what he thought about the trailer, even though he didn't see it. So what do you think about Furiosa?
I think it'll be one of the greatest films ever made in the history of cinema. It will tower over Across the Spider-Verse and Joyride.
And Dick's the Musical.
And Dick's. Well, I haven't seen Dick's the Musical. That's on you.
Citizen Kane's going to need a Stairmaster after this movie.
Oh yeah, no, Citizen Kane. Nobody remembers that. That's old.
So, Cider, I'll start with you. What did you think about Furiosa?
To be honest with you, I actually saw this trailer about 20 minutes after it got posted on the WB thing because I was logged into Bounding's YouTube channel and it popped like right up there because it's apparently subscribed. I don't know. I didn't do it myself. Anyway, it popped up, and what I noticed is when I went out and I Googled it to find out who was talking about it, there were like 5. I pulled up 10 figures. Sorry. There were 5 like news sites like the Hollywood Reporter, Variety, Direct, and a couple others that had already like snapped it up, right? But nobody on Twitter was saying a damn word about it. It wasn't trending anywhere. When I searched it, the only things that were talking about it were these news sites and WB. That's it. Not even the Mad Max account was talking about it. So this thing has been a complete wash. Just right out of the gate. Just like you said, if your trailer is longer than 2 minutes, your trailer is longer than 30 seconds, really, they're showing you the whole entire movie. You want to know why they're doing that? Because it sucks. And they need you to get into the theater so they can get your money before you walk out in disgust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's basically just like a regular screw job. They need to get your money before you realize how terrible things are.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't know of such things, sir.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're nerdigans. This movie is certainly for your target demographic here, and I'm not talking about the Jews. I'm just talking about women in general. So are you going to be the first in line to go watch this movie? Well, what is exciting you about this film?
Nothing's exciting me about this film. It ain't for me. I would rather watch oh God, what would I rather watch than this? Probably any
Samurai
anime
Pizza
more
Cats?
than this. What?
Samurai Pizza Cats?
Oh God.
Joyride.
I'd rather watch Thundercats Roar than this. That's how bad this trailer looks.
Well, what about Superhuman Samurai? Would you rather watch that instead of this?
I've never heard of that.
Cider should know about that one. He's
What?
kind of
You didn't hear about Superhuman Samurai? So they took Gridman and they made it about teenagers hacking into an internet like dimension place where like they beat the ass off a kaiju on the internet. It was in the 90s when nobody knew how the internet worked, and it was like this crazy magical place.
I'll have to watch that. That sounds interesting.
Oh yeah, it's really well. See, they took the Japanese footage, so it's like really, really dynamically shot, and then they just murdered it with Saved by the Bell American footage. So it's
Okay,
it's
that
like,
definitely sounds like some Power Ranger shit.
Exactly.
Or it sounds like what they tried to do originally with no, Sailor Moon. They did something completely different.
Yeah.
So I've given up.
I'll have to watch that. That sounds really good.
Well, I've given up on a monetization, so we're just gonna go ahead and play the theme song for Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. So there we go.
The evil Kilo Khan lives inside computer circuits. With the help of Malcolm Frink, he creates megavirus monsters to attack electronic systems.
The internet is fucking magic.
Turns Sam Collins into Servo. His friends join forces in their samurais attack vehicles.
See?
Together
It's
they
Gridman.
transform into the Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad.
Okay,
God,
now
I
I
do
remember this.
I actually fucking remember this.
I know.
Oh my God, now I remember this.
It's like a trauma memory. Your brain tried to compartmentalize it.
Yep. This memory's been on lock for almost 30 years.
And Tim Curry.
Tim Curry
was in this. Yes.
Oh yes.
And he sold it, by the way. He applied his usual Tim Curry, a 15 out of 10, kind of approach. Oh, yeah.
God.
Thank you for taking me back to 1993. What was it? A Saturday morning, 1994.
Yeah.
Say what you want about the 1990s. That was the absolute peak of just television theme songs. Like you'll never get a better era of television theme songs in the 1990s ever.
Nope.
I mean, yeah, I can agree with that.
I remember that now. I would watch that at my friend's house too. Oh my god.
I mean, tattooed teenage alien fighters from Beverly Hills, freaking VR
The
troopers. Oh my god!
The most catchy. The 90s had the most catchiest theme song for the ugly Martians.
Hey man, I was a baby when I was like a little dumb baby when all this stuff was happening. I was born in 1989, so like 1993, I was like a dumb baby.
Watch this.
Yeah. I caught it in syndication though. So it was like deep syndication, like on Boomerang and UPN,
Yeah,
93, I was either fetus or just born, so.
Yeah, welcome to the world, Cassie.
What were we talking about? Mad Max? Yeah. So Cassie, what do you think about the Mad Max movie?
Oh, now I'm sad again.
Oh my god. Well,
great.
I'm tired of watching movies that are overtly like 90 to 100% CGI. So when I looked at this and so fake, it's like I don't need to watch it. Like you confirmed, I don't need to see this just because of how fake it looks. And it's hard with Mad Max because if anybody has watched, OG Mad Max, it's like, very visually. It came from a time where you couldn't rely on CGI, buddy boys. So to go from that to this, and I'm supposed to be like, oh, this is the same universe. I'm supposed to take this as seriously. No, like, fuck out of here. And then this character looks like a complete joke. I mean, the whole, I don't know. It's like a balance. It's like, I'm glad they didn't at least, race swap Mad Max, because I feel like they totally would have if they could. So, I guess this is the next best thing.
Now, in fairness, I didn't see the trailer or the majority of it. Will we get the origin story to Anti-Entity in this movie or not? I'm curious. No, okay. Well, then it's not worth my time, is it? If we're not going to get the person who would become Tina Turner, then it's not even worth me watching. All right.
No. So it's not even like here's the thing. This is clearly a movie that's going to pander the women. That's fine. Usually what you do to counteract that is you get a very attractive woman so that even the guys can be like, okay, this movie sucks, but at least she's hot, so I can suck it up for like 90 minutes. I don't even think you've accomplished that. So this is going to fail on two fronts.
That was the point of the wives in Fury Road. The whole point they're in there is to be pretty and sweaty and in a state of undress. So
I don't know if that will work now, having seen how the Marvelettes was supposed to be the rallying cry for all womankind. I don't think that went over as well as they expected. But with this movie, I think because it was so popular and many people were overly praising it, in my view. I mean, it was fine, but I don't think it was Best Picture worthy. Although nowadays, who knows? Point being, who's really excited
for this? No,
yes, for this, I really don't know why people are going to rush to see this movie. But
in the words of a midget. They're in the words of a midget comedian. The only people that are excited for this are those fuckers.
Yeah, I was worried that was like going to be like a short joke, but I'm 5'7". I don't qualify as a midget.
Not yet.
His name's Brad Williams. He's fucking hilarious.
Which, by the way, is an offensive term. My communist friend has told me that midget is an offensive term. We cannot use that.
I told him that.
Midget.
Dale to shut up. How about that?
I will next time he's here.
You're like the Andre of Giant. You're like the Andre of Giant of midgets.
Speaking of midgets, I learned something about one. Peter Dinklage plays Scourge in the Transformers: Rise of the Beef.
Oh yeah,
Rise of the Beef.
Of the Beef.
Where's the beef?
It was the one that was in Brooklyn, the one that they just did earlier this year.
Yeah,
where the two characters, the two Puerto Ricans were running around New York going, Brooklyn, yo, Brooklyn. You know, they remember that movie?
It was great.
Oh my God. I saw that movie and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
That's
You and,
the
like,
one
They
five
made
people.
pretend.
I'm not
The
even
first-
lying. They literally made a Transformer movie for Puerto Ricans in New York. So let's
They
that
made a
niche?
Transformers
What is that
movie
niche?
where, oh fuck, or for freaking help me, I'm a victim. That's all it fucking was.
And you know, what's worse is that Jacob made me watch it so that we could talk about
But
it.
what I want to point out is that they showed, like, one of the guys that I watch is Pointless Hub. Used to be Alternate History Hub, then he got bored with that. So Pointless Hub, he's been going through all the Transformers things, right? And so now he's on this recent one, and he's showing the clips of Scourge, and he's like, it seems like Peter Dinklage was taking a shit while on Zoom recording these lines. And then he plays some of them, and it does sound like he's like, "You get him, guys!" You know, he's like forcing a poop out. You know, it's big as him.
I'll say that I saw Peter Dinklage in that prequel, the Hunger Games prequel that I nodded off to, and that, like, is this still going on? Boy, he really was overacting. He was just, devouring the scenery.
Mad Max, right?
Yes.
So I studied this for a little while because I wanted to create a Kamen Rider adaptation for Drive that was about Mad Max, was set in the Mad Max world. So this whole thing is a big mistake because Max is supposed to be an accidental anti-hero. He's not supposed to be a protagonist, right? So in Fury Road, George, the guy that created this, George Stewart, something like that, George Stewart Little, I don't know what his name is. Anyway, this guy, he just shelves Max. We saw that in Fury Road. He just, like, put Max up on a shelf. He's here for the sake of being the title character in the movie, and that's it. That's all he does. In fact, he gets strapped to the front of a car to get him through the plot of the movie. So they've just dropped him completely, and that's the mistake. Mad Max's world is not like GTA. It's not a world of heroes. It's a world of survivors. Max is a brutally retired police officer. All he knows is an objective. Occasionally, Max will self-sacrifice, but that's to get the means to an end in order to either, because his heart's broken or there's a child involved, like that little savage kid with the boomerang that killed people. That's it. Max is not a hero. So when you go putting heroes in his world, they need to immediately die. That's what happens to good people in Max's world. That's the story of why Max went nuts. His wife and child were killed because they were the last good people left. That whole traffic accident in the first movie wiped out anybody with a conscience.
We don't, do we need another hero?
No, not in Mad Max's world. No.
I think the reason that this movie was made is because the character of Furiosa was so wildly praised, and Charlize Theron was hailed as this great heroine in this series. So people were already calling for a spin-off for her. Now they got the spin-off. Let's see how well it does. Does this character have enough of a fan base to get people to go? Because again,
maybe if they had released this movie like a couple of years after the last Mad Max movie, it's been almost 10 years since that movie came out, and now they're coming out like, oh yeah, you guys remember?
No,
could have been.
No, you're right. 2015. Sorry, it's 2015. Yeah. It feels longer.
Exactly. So they've it's like when they wanted to make a Catwoman movie with Michelle Pfeiffer, and then they had so many issues, they eventually got the Halle Berry Catwoman, and look how that turned out.
This is gonna be great. This is gonna be great. Any final thoughts on Furiosa before we move on to our next topic here?
Just one. Okay, just one. This is a question for the ladies in our panel right now. So Cassie and Nerdigans, if you are in the Mad Max setting, what are you going to do? What are you going to do in the Mad Max setting? You're in there.
I want to run over people with cars.
Okay.
Murder. Okay.
Yeah, who wouldn't want to murder people with cars and shoot people?
These are all natural instincts for women, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That's exactly their knee-jerk reaction was to murder.
Wait, if you are a guy, wouldn't you want to do the same thing?
Okay, but our running people over at cars is due to our driving incompetency, not necessarily on purpose.
Well, I mean, the reason why I ask is because they'd like to pretend that these movies are made for women. And we've just now witnessed that, given the opportunity, our two female panelists who are, among the average lady folk in the world, right? You know, you're not like these space aliens that have opinions from Mars or something. You're lived in lady folk, and your first knee-jerk idea is to go murder people. So that just proves that this Furiosa movie's stupid on its face.
You know what? That should have been the tagline for this movie. Furiosa, a Mad Max movie for people who pee sitting down. That's really should have been the song.
That's what they're trying to push so hard in this. I mean, this is a Lifetime movie with a Transformers budget. That's what it is.
Like, for me, when I look at the state of entertainment and how it's trying so hard to take what was previously for men and make it for women, it's like I liked it when it appealed to men. Because I liked that sort of thing. That was what I was into. I was a tomboy all my life growing up. I would walk down the Toys R Us girls section and want to vomit because it was too much pink. Like, everything was fucking pink. I was like, no, I want to go over to dude section and get an action figure that has a different variety of colors, not the same motherfucking color pink.
And elbows that move.
Bro, after seeing the 5,000th, Barbie doll or baby doll, you get for me, I got kind of fucking sick after a while. So, like, I got into all this entertainment that was, predominantly for boys or teenage boys, and I love that shit. Now I can't stand it because it doesn't appeal to what it previously is. They changed it. And it's like, you think I'm supposed to like it now because it appeals to women and I'm a woman? No, I fucking always ran away historically from women-centric bullshit. And guess what? Women don't care about this shit. And that's why they're going to continue to fail, but they're still going to continue to chase a demographic that doesn't give a fuck.
But don't we need a heroine so that little girls can grow up to be apocalyptic destroyers? Don't we need a film?
Tina Turner, and she had a chainmail bikini. I mean, how do you top that?
Look, man,
no, you can't.
You could do this sort of shit, but it could still be for men, and it could still be fun. That's the problem with modern day. They want to make it for women, and they want to make it not fun. Matter of fact, they want to make it insufferable, and that's where they fuck it all up.
They don't want to make it for women, and no, they want to make it for themselves. This is self-insert bullshit. They feel oppressed because they're not hot, and they just want to make movies that make them feel better about themselves because they're just a bunch of fugly Karens that have nothing better to do.
Yeah. Because, like, it just occurred to me, Anya No Butt girl there, she does not have a missing arm. She has a missing butt, but she doesn't have a missing arm, so she's not an amputee. What are they going to do? They took Davros out of his wheelchair because that was too, like, ableist. They didn't go and find an amputee actress to play Furiosa.
We talked about Peter Dinklage. Wasn't he the one who screwed over all those guys in Snow White and got them kicked off of that movie?
They had to go make those hideous, otherworldly CGI things that they have now in the.
Some of those CGI creatures still tower over Snow White, if based on the pictures.
Yeah. They're dwarves in the sense of, like, their head to leg ratio is squished. Not that they're short.
They're dwarves in Rick's sense.
Yeah, before we move on to the next topic.
I'm 5'7" too, man. Jeez.
That's your problem.
When we combine, we make Ultron, all right? Not Ultron, Voltron, and we can reach the top of the fridge. You understand? We can reach the top of the fridge.
Not on Rick's knees.
There you go.
No senior citizen.
What do you mean on Rick's? What does that mean?
No, that was an age joke. So
you're being ageist.
He's implying that I would climb up on top of your shoulders.
Yeah,
and that's how this would work.
You would buckle
like tumblers in the circus.
Yeah.
So it's a fat joke and an old joke at the same time. You see, layers of flavors there, Jacob. Layers of flavors.
Well, I've lost 30 pounds. I don't know what he's talking about.
No, I'm the fat one on top of you.
Okay.
Idiot.
Right,
anyway, let's talk about some football.
I'll form the fat one.
Let's
I'm
talk
finally
about
not
football.
told the fat one. This is great.
See? Special for
You're asking for it. Calm down. Let me go ahead and just play this one because I wanted to give you an intro here because I know that Spencer here, who went to Irvine, apparently doesn't know anything about football. So let me get you guys to the mood here for a second. Oh, yeah. So over the weekend, we had the college football playoff that was announced. And we got our 4 teams that are going to be competing in the national championship. It turns out the 4 teams are going to be Florida, not Florida State, is going to be Michigan, Washington, Alabama, and Texas. Those were the 4 teams that were selected. Now, the reason why people from Florida State are very, very
Jacob, there's an air raid.
Oh, yeah, in the background. It's fine. But apparently the reason why people are so upset is because Florida State, despite being 13-0 and completely undefeated, won the ACC. They were told that they were not good enough to be in the top 4 because they lost their quarterback due to injury 3 weeks ago. And as a result of that, they are no longer allowed to be in the college football playoffs. So I'll go ahead and pop up this little story here. By the way, for those wondering what that sound was, back when ESPN did the Sunday Night Football games, that was the theme for ESPN Sunday Night Football. So that's going back to I think 2005 was like the last time that they had the launch. So that's going back for a while. So Florida State fans all over the place are just absolutely like pissed off because going into last weekend, they played in the ACC championship against Louisville. They were ranked number 3 and they won and they were undefeated. So it was a foregone conclusion to a lot of people that Florida State would be chosen as one of the top 4 teams. When it got to Friday and the teams got announced, they were not announced. Texas had jumped over them, even though they had 1 loss, and Alabama had jumped over them, even though they had 1 loss. So they were like, well, what the hell is going on here? How did we get jumped by 2 1-loss teams when we were number 3 and we were undefeated? We should at least be number 3. Some would argue number 2, but I mean, that's not really what I would agree with here. But then the argument here was, well, you didn't have your quarterback, so, I mean, you probably would have lost anyway, so we're not going to have you in. And a lot of people were pointing out the fact that, well, the committee was not going to allow a non-SEC playoff because ESPN, who has an exclusive television deal with the SEC, it will be a lot of money involved and a lot of money that they will lose. So they figured that it was better for them to screw over Florida State, who doesn't have as big an outreach, rather than to screw over Texas and Alabama, two of the biggest football programs in the country. Jordan Davis, who went down 3 weeks ago in a game, keep in mind they still won 3 games without him, but still he went down 3 weeks ago, leg injury, he's out for the season. And he pretty much had to come out and say that he was devastated that his team not only didn't get picked, but he was essentially the blame for them not getting picked. He wrote on Twitter, devastated and heartbroken in so much disbelief right now. I wish my leg had broke earlier in the season so y'all can see this team is so much better than the quarterback. I thought results matter. 13-0. This roster matches up against any team in the top 4. I'm so sorry. Go no. So he's kind of taking the heat here from himself for being the reason why they're not in, but everyone's agreeing that they got completely shafted here, that they got completely screwed, except unless you're like an Alabama fan who's just really happy that they got in over everybody else. So this is our football talk here today. I'm sure all of you guys are super hardcore college football fans. So anyone has anything to contribute to this story here about Florida State literally getting raw dogged by the committee?
What's the difference between Florida and Florida State?
One's a state college and one's not.
Okay, that's I think pretty much my contribution to this discussion. So no, on a serious note, how exactly are these teams picked? Just this committee just picks certain teams and says,
so they put together a committee of people who are vaguely involved in college football. And like the first college football committee had like Condoleezza Rice as part of their committee. So that just goes to show you what an absolute sham this whole selection process was. But essentially what happened was that before this thing came together, we had an old system called the BCS. And the BCS was like a combination of like an AP poll, the coaches poll, and like a computer system to decide who was going to be the 2 teams that played for the national championship. And because so many people complained that the BCS was an outdated system, especially that one year that somehow Alabama and LSU ended up in the national championship game, despite the fact that LSU didn't even win the conference and they were a 1-loss team, they still got it anyway because they were in the SEC. They wanted, okay, well, let's just make it the top 4 teams. So then they created a system for the top 4 teams. However, there's no real, I guess, concrete qualifications for being in the top 4. You have to quote unquote pass the eye test and all this other nonsense. So it's basically just another of a sham system. And the big reason why I wanted to talk about this is kind of like a bigger topic overall, is that over the last few years, a lot of these corporations have really just killed college sports, because we're at a point now where they used to be like the top 5 conferences. It used to be the Pac-12, the Big 10, the Big 12, the ACC, and the SEC. Those were like
$5 foot long.
Essentially, and Big East used to be up there for a while, but then they folded for the most part. So now, as a result of all the money that's been moved around, with the television networks getting involved with the conferences directly, now the players in the college football are getting paid for their contributions as well. The Pac-12 just collapsed, so this was their last year of existence. They're done. The Big 12 is in big trouble right now because Texas and Oklahoma are both leaving for the SEC, so they're probably going to be done here. And as a result of Florida State getting screwed, despite being undefeated in the season and being told they're still not good enough, now you have Miami, Florida, and Clemson, who are all trying to make a move to leave the ACC to join the SEC. So now you're at a point where you only have 2 big conferences. You're going to have the Big 10, and keep in mind there's like 20 teams in the Big 10 now in the SEC. So like I said, there's an aspect of Disney being involved here because they have connections to ESPN, so they've muddied the waters of this whole thing. But it used to be for a few years, especially if you didn't like the NFL because of the stuff that they were doing, it's like, hey, at least you still got college football, at least you can still watch the play on Saturday. And now really you can't watch them play on Saturday either, because they just straight up told you, yeah, those games really don't mean much anymore either. So they're just big watch where you're on now. They're just going to pick whatever Big 4 programs they think is going to draw money, and then they'll let them play for their de facto paper championship. And that's college football in a nutshell. So yeah, everything's great.
So basically, this is all kind of almost a random who can draw the most audience, and that's who they're going to match up.
Yeah, that's essentially the decision that they made with Alabama, because Alabama going into this weekend, they were number 8, so they weren't even in the top 5. They beat Georgia, who was number 1. But they had several teams that were in front of them who all won. So based on that reaction, well, if you have several teams who are in front of you and they all win, that means that you're going to be left out. But what they decided to do is that instead of leaving Florida State in, who was number 3, they decided to have both Texas and Alabama somehow leapfrog an unbeaten team and leave the unbeaten team out. The justification was, well, they weren't good enough, even though they were unbeaten and 13-0 and won the conference. So. And Joanna here puts it very poorly. It's all about money. It's not about competition whatsoever. It's all about money.
Yeah, well, as an outsider, the only college football game that I really care about is the Sun Bowl, and that's because it's here in El Paso. It doesn't seem to have an actual standard as to what teams will play for the championship and move on. Every other sport that I know has the playoffs, and you get to move on from after you beat a team that has a similar record. If you beat them, you move on to the next one. I guess college does not have that. So if you don't, then it's almost like a hodgepodge. You'll pick one. We'll pick one from here. We'll pick one from there. I don't know why college football fans would want to watch if they're not going to get the actual best teams playing against each other. They're just going to get the most popular ones. So yeah, I'm perplexed as to why people really care to watch. But then again, I just remember like the Orange Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, and the Rose Bowl. And
those are the big 4. They call them now the New Year's Day 4, because those are when those bowls are played now. So it's like I said, Sugar, Fiesta, a Rose, and I think the other one's the Orange Bowl. Those are the ones that are played on New Year's Day. So as a result of Florida State getting screwed out of the national championship, they got relegated to the Orange Bowl, which had a complete domino effect on the ACC, because Louisville was supposed to play in the Orange Bowl, but because they got screwed over, now they have to play like the Holiday Bowl in San Diego, and Miami now has to play in like El Paso or something like that. So
Notre Dame
at the Fruit Bowl.
Oregon that's playing El Paso.
See, El Paso. Okay, so Miami must be playing somewhere else near the Texas area then. But yeah, it just had a disastrous downfall in the whole thing. So people over the last couple of days are like, well, if this is what it's just going to be now, if you're just going to favor one conference over the entire nation, then it's like, what is the point of all this then? Because why am I investing my Saturdays to watch this game, assuming that these games actually mean something? Because the game that everyone thought was win or go home actually wasn't win or go home.
Well, at this point, all the college football fans, not just the college football fans, it should be the colleges and universities themselves who should be saying, you know what, we're not going to participate if you are going to just pick teams almost at random. And I know there's a lot of money involved and a lot of advertising and sell the games too, but if really at a certain point, your school pride should actually be more important for all these college and university presidents and their board of trustees. If I were in Florida or Florida State, I would just say
Tallahassee.
Yeah, I would just say we're not going to even participate. We're going to win. We're going to keep playing. Our audience is big enough to carry us over, but no, we're not even going to accept any invitations to play any of these bowl games if you're just going to say it's based on that. But that should be a collective effort. It shouldn't just be one or two.
That was a thought that a lot of people have, that Florida State should just refuse to play in the Orange Bowl. So they're scheduled to play in the Orange Bowl against Georgia now, and a lot of people say they should just boycott the game and not even play, because it's a no-win situation for you at all. Because if you lose, then everyone's going to say, well, see, that's why you didn't get in the first place. But if you win, it only further signifies how you guys got screwed out of the national championship to begin with, because you beat the team that apparently no one said you were good enough to beat in the first place.
And the thing that I don't understand is why does it really matter? Why should it matter that it's just one player who can't play? That to me is an absurdity. You have second and third string quarterbacks,
and they still won 3 games without him. They won the ACC championship game without him.
Exactly. So that's so for me, again, as an outsider, that's a ridiculous answer to give. Oh, it's because of one player. Remember, there's no I in team, so it just can't be reduced to just we're okay. You were one player is not going to be able to play, so we're not even going to consider you. That's such an absurdity. Everyone who heard that should have been laughing in their face, because it's a lie. We'll just call it a lie. We'll just call it a lie that they're trying to make up. They're trying to find an excuse, a reason to say, oh, we're not going to go and we're not going to put in the team that has the best record, because we think these other teams are going to draw a bigger audience. Just be honest. And it looks like they're going to have to reform the college bowl system once again, because this should be there should be a wake-up call. I hate using the term, but this should be a wake-up call to all the other universities. If they did this to Florida State this year, and next year you have a record, what's to prevent them from finding another reason to say if your school is not big or isn't going to draw in the advertisers? It's going to happen. It's going to happen to others.
All of these schools are now condensing to 2 mega conferences now, because they've been told by the committee and by the powers that be that, well, your little conference isn't good enough to play with the big boy, so you got to get in with the big boy money. So all these other, like I said, the Pac-12 completely fell apart. UCLA, USC, they're going to the Big 10. There's a few other schools that are going to the Big 12. This is really stupid. Cal and Stanford are now going to play in the ACC. If you don't know what the ACC stands for, it's called the Atlantic Athletic Conference. So there's supposed to be all Atlantic teams in the East Coast, and now they're adding Stanford and Cal to the mix. That just shows you how dumb the whole thing is. So yeah, the too long didn't read version. Pro football is probably fixed, and now college football is probably fixed too. So
good. So that when they're drafted from college to the NFL, they'll still they'll understand how the system works.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So everything stinks. Everything sucks. So that's the story.
I figured college football was fixed ever since they couldn't capture Forrest Gump when he was trying to run down the field.
Well, no, it was those gimpy legs that hurt him. So they have athletic commissions; they wouldn't allow it. So that's what it goes down to.
That's terrible.
Yep.
That son of a bitch sure is fast.
So that was my rant on college football. Everything sucks now. Now, only thing I can watch is like women's college volleyball now, because I'm pretty sure that's the only one that's not fixed at this point. So
there's always a
I'm
WNBA.
sure you have to force yourself through that, there, Jacob. I'm really sure you have to twist
really
your
do.
arm to get through that.
Mm-hmm.
Look, you can still get.
You can still get sit on the couch eating bonbons, just in sobber.
No.
Well, NFL's gotten really bad now to the point where there was a rumor. I don't remember which coach it was, but even coaches are starting to say, ask, when are the owners going to request to audit the refs? So it's like, remember, I said this like a couple months ago. It's like, it's only a matter of time before the owners are going to audit the refs.
Mm-hmm.
Something's going to have to give.
Well, I would just like to point out that the term owners is racist, so we cannot use that anymore.
Screw that. No one cares. No one cares. No real sports fans cares about that crap. Just like, do you guys remember what happened with the Kansas City Chiefs when those idiots tried to attack the kid, the Chiefs fan that was wearing the half black, half red paint and try and say that he was wearing blackface, and it turned out he was a Native American.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there is a lawsuit. Pretty soon, Deadspin's just going to be called Dead.
Rip. Well, I mean, apparently everyone just wants to go out like Gawker, so I just say just let him at this point. So let me go ahead and shift on to this question here. Can anyone tell me what this is? Because I saw this trending for a couple of days, and it looks like a woman giving birth throughout her buttocks, but she's still wearing pants, so she looks like she's just taking a massive dump, but the baby's coming out. And I don't think that's how babies come out, and I'm not sure if the people who put this together know where babies come from. There's a lot of confusion about this whole thing right now.
Is that what this is?
Well, hold on. You missed some context, okay? What we're looking at is the birth of Nightcrawler from his biological mothers. The woman who is holding the pooping woman's hand is Mystique, the blue shape-shifting mutant from X-Men. And she has impregnated this other mutant lady, and who is apparently pooping out a baby. And, or I'm not sure what's happening here. Maybe she has a hole in her back like Kermit, right? And
maybe this is like she's like trying to break in. She's like trying to break drugs into prison, and they caught her, and now they have to oh crap! And
oh no, it kind of looks like they're trying to make a baby more than trying to deliver one.
Well,
so what I'm supposed to understand here is that two women scissored together like they were trying to start a fire, and then one got pregnant.
And
then
Mystique
the other one
grew a penis.
Mystique looked like a man. Mystique was male presenting.
Nope. Mystique grew a blue penis. Her eggs transformed into sperm because she can do that. Okay, just so you know, this is actually real. Mystique can change any part of her body, right? She can change her larynx independent of her exterior form. She's gotten into the X-Mansion by changing her retina to match Charles Xavier's. This is not new that she can change individual parts of her body right down to the most minute thing. However, we did not need the visual of it put in our heads. Thank you very much. And this clears up nothing about Nightcrawler, by the way. If you notice, neither one of these women have like the freaky fingery thing that he's got going on, the 3-finger doodad thing. And none of them have the devil tail either. Mystique doesn't have a devil tail, and neither does Destiny, the lady that's pooping the baby. But I did want to show you this, okay? We did have an artist try to set in and figure out the anatomy of what's happening. And this made it on a Nerdrotics channel today. So this is legit, okay? So this comes to us from The Quaff. That's at Donkey Madness on Twitter. And he did his best to try and interpret what's happening. And it appears that Destiny has a gigantic badonkadonk. Like that has its own zip code of a butt. And he is going in like Thanksgiving turkey style to get that baby. So it appears to be happening here.
You know what we did? Something happened in the course like the last 10, 15 years where we literally just let like the sexual degenerates who used to write on like Tumblr and we gave them jobs in comics. So now they're just like creating their degenerate sexual fantasies and selling them as $6 books. Like this is where we're at now.
And now we have somebody twerking out a baby.
Someone had a sexual fantasy of someone giving birth through their anus. Is that my understanding?
This is some 300-pound blue-haired land whale who's a lesbian made a fantasy of, wouldn't it be great if we could like make babies without men, and then literally like made it into a canon Marvel book.
And look how terrible it is. Too,
DC did it first, though.
As a feminist fantasy, it's terrible too, because look, they don't even give her drugs for this. She's just holding her hand, putting a thing on her head. Come on, give her
take her pants off.
It's like the woman who came up with this. Has she ever seen like a delivery room? Like, does she know how like women naturally give birth? Like, is this what she assumes happens in hospitals every day?
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, that not only did someone write this, but they illustrated it. Someone looked at it, approved it. There was a whole chain of people who saw all this and said, yes, this is how women give birth. And so go ahead, Cider.
No, I just want to stay, because this is one of the things that it's actually true that you can give birth on all fours, right? This is not what that looks like. Okay, that is wrong, but you can do that. Some women, that works for them. Okay, for some women that works. A lot of the time they're on their back with the stirrups. Sometimes they do the water birth, right? You've seen that with like the jacuzzi thing, and then it gets filled full of poop, because that's what happens when the baby comes out, like a toothpaste tube. Anyway, that thing. And as we can see here, none of what we respect to be physics and biology are in place, like Rick's talking about. Women don't physically give birth like this, but the method of being on all fours to give birth is actually real. That's all.
Though she's not on all fours, because Mistiki's holding one of her hands. So
she's on all threes.
The only natural woman in this entire panel is shocked by what's going on.
It's true.
You mean female presenting?
She put her tie over her shoulder. Even it was very kind of her to do that.
That doctor is quite literally a turd burglar, unironically.
Yes. Here's the thing:
he didn't put his tie back; it got blew back by a fart.
People who are all shocked by this, about how they're having two females mating and whatnot, and having a bloodline from them and whatnot. DC already did this. Does nobody, or I'm guessing a lot of people in this panel didn't watch the Supergirl show, where they have the trans superhero called Dreamer. And apparently their Brainiac version in that show came from the future, where Dreamer has a descendant. Well, there's just one problem. Dreamer went from male to female as a kid, has a biological sister, and somehow has direct descendants thousands of years in the future. Explain how a male without a uterus gave birth and had a bloodline carrying on to 1,000 years in the future. It doesn't frickin' work. So yeah, they all are them trying to pull this shit with Raven and saying that there's a or she's not a shapeshifter, she is a shape grafter or whatever they said in the article, because I read it off of Bounding, and it's like, are you seriously telling me that none of you paid attention, or not you guys in the panel, but none of you who are freaking bitching about this paid attention to what DC already doing this? I mean, are you really that shocked that Marvel was going to go down this route? I mean, it's like, I've already seen this dumb shit. It's just more retardation from comic books. And they wonder why comic books are failing period. So yeah, DC did this, and then Marvel decided to say, okay, we're going to do it a little bit better, and we're going to make it even more fucking twisted.
It gets worse, because there's dialogue to back this whole thing up here, too. So I'm going to try to read. this as well. So I'm assuming this
Spider-Man?
is Nightcrawler. Yeah.
No, that's Miles Morales Nightcrawler. He's multiverse jumping again.
Why didn't they do this with Loki? Loki at least has the mythology behind it.
It says, but you're both women. Like, don't be pathetic. I have lived for years as sapient males, years before as females. Do you know what I have observed? They're as awful. God, I hate reading this. They're as awful to each other. The only true binary division lies not between genders or sexes or sexualities. It's between those who are allowed to be who they wish and are denied that right.
Says the shapeshifter.
They're denying biological reality. They are just doing the same thing as DC. They're denying biological reality. They're trying to shift the they're trying to shift the narrative saying, oh, trans men or trans women can have babies. If they can bleed out of their ass and call it a period, they can have babies. Fuck all of it. It is just more denial of reality. This fucking world is freaking doomed as far as I'm concerned, because honestly, the only way... I can't say it, never mind.
As the, what was it, Tim Robbins in that Netflix comedy show, this world's so fucking fucked. That's where we are. Oh man, like that. This is painful that we've gotten to like this point. Like this is just
this cringe just hurt my lady balls.
Mm-hmm. Like this is something. This is like a cringe comic that I would expect like your boy Zach to read, like sitting on his lap in his shorts. And then even then, I don't even think he could have imagined like reading something like this bad. It's like this is the type of like dialogue that just like gives you like a literal headache, like reading.
Yeah. See, this is again like the thing that I pointed out earlier about this is that we understood that Mystique had the ability to change herself however she liked. Okay, we understood this. Now, apparently, about 30 years ago, when Chris Claremont originally started this dumb bullshit roller coaster, he wanted to make Nightmare the father of Nightcrawler, because if you got to be your dad, you got to have your dad's name, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so that was, but then he got told no by editorial at Marvel. So then he shifted over. He said, well, then Mystique and Destiny had a baby together, and that's where Nightcrawler came from. And editorial said, no, that's not going to happen either. So then they just decided that Azazel was close enough, and they were going to loosely imply that over the years, but never directly confirm it. And now, whoever's in the Tumblrite that's writing this series has decided, I liked Claremont's weird hermaphrodite story, the she-male Mystique. So I'm going to put that in as canon now. So there you go. Blue penis. Congratulations, Marvel. Got a blue penis now. Stan would be proud.
So Mystique could also produce a sperm?
Yes. According to her biology, we've seen it through the years. She can change her larynx independent of her exterior. She can change her retina. She's gotten into the X Mansion before by fooling the retinal scans by changing her eyes to Professor X's. So she can change her body on the very tiny molecular level without totally transforming her body. So her eggs, she transformed into sperm. We knew she could do this. We just didn't need to have the image of it put in our head.
So Mystique, who looked, I guess, like a woman, but just had the blue penis, had sex, and I presume it was the heterosexual sex with Destiny, and Destiny would know that it was a woman, but the woman still had the penis in order to procreate. Okay, I'm kind of following all of this because it's and then, but I guess once Mystique was finished using her penis to impregnate Destiny, she, I guess, transformed it out. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So I'm not completely
Swiss Army genitals.
This is like when Peggy Hill. It's like when Peggy
Going
Hill
down this rabbit hole is bound to make you mentally retarded.
All right. I'm still.
You don't want to do it.
I'm still puzzled as to the actual birthing method. You know, as someone who was forced to watch a lot of medical shows, I'm a little perplexed as to why that's a comfortable or good way to deliver a baby. Although I'm assuming that Nightcrawler looked at birth the way he looks in, as an adult.
Yeah, blue.
I'm just gonna play this. It's like,
What the fuck?
Yep.
What the fuck? You're relieved you don't have to go to work because you thought you were gonna get eaten? What the fuck is this world? What have they done to us?
Yep.
That's pretty much...
What has Marvel done to us? Yes.
Well, the question
Marvel, DC, all these fucking freaks out there who think that nature's not binary. We fucked ourselves over by allowing these delusional retards to actually think that their delusions are real. We fed a delusion, and this is the result. I'm sorry if I'm sorry if I'm going overboard or getting you in trouble. I'm sorry. But it has to be said. We are killing ourselves because we allowed this to happen.
Well, I'm just curious, why was this done? I mean, did we need
why?
They want to change the narrative. They want people to believe that women don't need men to frickin' procreate.
They still needed the sperm, so only biological men.
That's biological fact. They don't accept that.
They just see it. Look, they're a bunch of sick fucks that see this as a win against misogyny. That's all it boils down to. There's no understanding. There is no rationality to this stupid dumb fuck decision. There's none of that here. This to them is somehow a win, and they've bastardized yet again another set of characters. Mystique multiple times now. So I mean, it is what it is. Modern day X-Men is not X-Men.
I'm just really trying to make it I'm trying really hard to not have this ruin Rebecca Romaine Stamos for me.
I think
she ruined herself.
Look,
she was fantastic as Mystique.
I don't know anything about her in modern day. She is one of the, if not the best character in X-Men 2. The fact that she got the massive downgrade that she got in X-Men 3 is kind of sad. But, I mean, look, I will forever remember Rebecca Romaine sliding through the door, putting up her middle finger. That is the coolest shit on fucking film, period.
I think that was
a trap if she had a ding.
Well, I think
while she was naked, too.
I think it was a downgrade from Rebecca Romaine down to Jennifer Lawrence's take on this.
Well, I gotta remind, like I just said, I gotta remind you, Rebecca Romaine was naked in that. If you didn't see like any of the extras, they covered her lady parts up with just some rubber pads
and whatnot.
So she's doing all these stunts and these cartwheels and these very elaborate splits in just blue paint and some very well placed glued blue patches. That's it. Meanwhile, you have Jennifer Lawrence wearing a head-to-toe, full-body CGI suit. Then beyond that, she's wearing a full-body latex suit.
So then she wasn't even blue for most of the movie because she didn't want to spend that time in makeup.
Exactly.
Yeah, she didn't want to do that. But
so it's useless.
You see, when they said it should be called X-Women, they weren't kidding.
X-Thems. X-Thems. Yep. The X-Thems.
Xers.
Oh. You're listening, Bob Iger? Kevin Feige?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to burn some more money, or while you sacrificing children to Moloch, you fucking hacks.
Those will be scenes in the future X-Men films.
It's gonna be the DVD extras.
Kevin Feige sacrificing children to Moloch is in the DVD extras. Okay,
and
they're bold enough now to do it. Why not? They probably put the Beatles in the background.
And the thing is, we will have to watch those deleted scenes to follow the plot of the next Marvel's movie. Because we have to do that now.
No one's sitting through the credits of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyone got anything else to say about the butt baby disaster, or can we move on now?
Let's move on, because if I have to listen to it any further, I'm gonna die.
Blue penis.
What?
Well, I've heard of blue balls, but this is something completely different. Because again, don't you need the testicles also to produce?
Yeah,
sperm?
she can do all of it. she can do all of that.
So she literally has.
I'm now convinced that this woman thinks that women give birth out of their butts. Like that's the only rationale.
Yeah, that's
probably thinking way too much about
we're
it.
We're over sympathizing it at this point. So.
Mystique has the ability to fully transform her body. You saw that in the movie. She became Stryker.
This is your problem. You're trying to rationalize stupidity instead of just accepting that it's stupidity.
Just accept that Cardi B is going to start playing in all paternity wards all over the country.
What was the problem with Azazel being his dad? It didn't mean that all mutants were demons. It could have been that he was half demon. That explained the wonky, weird finger thing he had going on and the freaky devil tail.
That's the cool thing about Nightcrawler. Really, in essence, like, yeah, his father's kind of a devil, but he's, this religious dude that wants to do the right thing. Like, that's what made his character really good.
And what would freak out a religious figure like Nightcrawler more than finding out that he's literally born from two moms? Because of course you can't have
a virgin birth. I'm not going to go there, but
well, remember, these people don't like religion anyway, so
you just see Charles Xavier grabbing a hold of Kurt's head, Nightcrawler's head, and then he has the flash of the baby being born out of the butt, and he's like, I was the butt baby? Yes, you were the butt baby.
Now, if they wanted to be funny, when he pulled out the butt baby, it would have just been Baby Bono. If they wanted to do a callback,
oh,
they're not smart
with the little devil tail, devil tail.
But like I said, that goes way over the head. See, we can even take your stupid concepts and still make it funny. That's how bad your concepts are. That's how bad you guys are.
Well, you could always have Nightcrawler when he has that vision start going, "Papa, can you see me? Papa, can you hear me?" Then he'll convert from, I guess, Catholicism to Judaism. I don't know.
Do you think that Mystique made him suck the biddy, or is that not we'll move on.
I don't want to go there. I don't want to go
there. Moving on.
I'm blue. Double D. Double die.
What's wrong with you, man?
Now I have to ask: can she make milk like that? Can she just make breast milk just like that? Is that
that would be left to Destiny. That would be left to Destiny because Destiny is the birth mother.
No, I mean, like, if she made sperm out of her eggs, then odds are she could make milk, right? Wouldn't that doesn't that track?
But still leave it to Destiny to
so if she could produce sperm and eggs, technically couldn't she just impregnate herself?
Yep.
She's like an almond tree.
Yeah, she's Cartman's mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about more Marvel disasters. Here's our closer. The Marvels is now officially the lowest grossing MCU film of all time. So it ended its theatrical run, or I think it's ending its theatrical run, but essentially no one saw this. So to put this into perspective, somehow this movie did worse than like Shang-Chi, the Eternals. It did worse.
Eternals, not internals.
Oh, Eternals. It did worse than that as well. Like, this is awful. Like, it did half of Eternals. Half. Bad. This is a movie that cost nearly $300 million to make. It hasn't even crossed the $200 million mark yet at the box office. This died quick, and no one saw this. And I don't know where they go from here because this is just an epic disaster of epic proportions. But yeah, shocker. Brie Larson and the two girls from Disney Plus, no one wanted to go see their movie. And guess what? The movie kind of sucked too. I don't know if you guys know this, but the movie wasn't really that good to begin with. But
cringy.
After the movie has been delayed, remember, keep in mind, this is originally supposed to come out 18 months ago. And after it finally got released, it's at about $80 million domestically as of this writing, 116 worldwide. It's at just $197 million worldwide total gross. So it didn't even make back its production budget after everything that went on with it. This is the villain of the film, someone who you're not even going to remember walking out of the theater. Yeah, and Meghan Markle, exactly. I mean, we're talking about now, what, 33, 34 MCU films in total? I think we're at right now. I think after this year, we're at, I want to say 33 is the right number. But out of 33 movies, this drew worse than all of them combined with inflation. So I don't know what more to say. I mean, maybe the part of the reason why they're losing money is because they're doing butt baby comics. Have you ever thought that probably be a reason that people are just turning off this brand? Like, we've gotten to the point where with not Brie Larson, but just the MCU in general, when those films came out, they were almost guaranteed to make $1 billion worldwide, and now they can't even make back the money that they put into it production-wise, and it's only going to get worse. There's 2 movies that got pushed back due to, according to me, the quality being awful. That's why the movies have been pushed back. But as a result, the only movie that's scheduled to come out next year is Deadpool 3, which they're still filming up to this point, so we don't even know what that film's actually going to look like when it's all said and done. The only other movies they got coming up that they're going to get people excited about is the Captain America 4, which is a disaster, Blade, which is a disaster. We have Thunderbolts with Glenn from The Walking Dead playing Superman for some reason. Fantastic Four, which is going to be a disaster. And then Kang Dynasty, we don't even know Jonathan Majors is going to play him. It does seem like he's coming back, but they're going to do that movie anyway, which good luck. And yeah, that's the future of Marvel in a nutshell. So that's where we're at. This movie bombed. Yeah, Brie Larson's career. I'm not sure. Her career will only be over if people just hate her so much that they just no longer want to work with her. And I have to look at it like this. If Shia LaBeouf can still have a career for as long as he did after he fell off the wagon, they got to give at least Brie Larson a couple more years, right? I mean, she's not Lindsay Lohan, so I think she's still got a couple of runs left in her. I don't know how good those runs are going to be, but that's pretty much where we're at now. So yeah, not even Brie Larson's Padded Bra can draw people to the movie theater. That's a bad sign for everyone involved. I'll go ahead and start with you, Orange. What do you think about the Marvels officially the lowest drawing MCU film ever?
Love it. I love it.
What?
Because this proves what everybody has been saying. And this is why Nia DaCosta obviously played victim, and all the others obviously are playing victim, because they just found out the truth that Captain Marvel on itself wasn't that good. The only reason it succeeded was because it was sandwiched in between 2 big Avengers films. And that is the only reason why it did good. Because honestly, people were like, this movie sucks, we're not going back again. But you know what? Disney also defended that film as well. They changed Rotten Tomatoes in order to defend it. But now they can't do that with this film. There is no big Avengers film coming up in between it, or before or after it. So now it had to stand a test on its own. And as they said in A Knight's Tale, you've been weighed, you've been measured, you've been found wanting. Your movie sucks. It's your own fucking fault. There's nobody to blame but yourselves. You had terrible writing. Apparently you also had terrible effects. I did not see this movie. I won't see this movie. But I am finally glad to see that a movie that should never have been the worst MCU film back then is no longer the worst MCU film, which is The Incredible Hulk. I'm sorry, Ed Norton's Incredible Hulk was actually very well done, in my opinion. They actually had digital effects that looked pretty damn real for 2008. But this one, it just shows they couldn't stand on their own 2 feet. It's as if somebody cut off all their freaking toes and and the main body of their foot, and they just stood on stumps. And they ended up falling over like a freaking sack of bricks.
To answer Neozo's question real quick, yes, the Marvels did worse than The Flash. The Flash did 270 before getting pulled, and this movie hasn't even done 200 yet. So yeah, it has performed significantly worse than The Flash so far. Eddie, what is your thoughts on Brie Larson's movie doing bad because she's bad and the movie was bad?
As somebody who has not watched one of the Marvel movies at all, I have no idea what goes on in the MCU. I never really bothered to. I'm Martin Scorsese on the subject. I don't think they're film. That being said, I'm kind of happy if this is the end of it all, because I'm so tired of just large budget movies that I don't care to watch anymore. And to know that all that money in those budgets are going to movies like that instead of going to actual films with real stories and things is a travesty. And Brie Larson she's a good actress. She's actually, I mean, before all of this hucklemucky, you know, she was actually a pretty decent actress with a pretty good trajectory, you know. So I hope she goes back to, you know, doing some real simple films, you know, and try to get back that acting spunk that she used to have, because she was pretty decent before all this. And the biggest surprise is that out of the failure that is the Marvels, this one girl, I can't pronounce her name, Iman.
Yeah.
She's probably the most, let's say, responsible out of all of it, because, you know, she's like she's taking it with stride, and I like that. And she knows that it's like when girls were coming into slasher movies in the 80s and stuff, and you're trying to gain some decent girls trying to come in, and they had to get known for that, but she doesn't care. And she's going to have to get known for superhero movies, but she doesn't care. This is a good leg for her, and she seems to be taking it really well. I hope she does well. Yeah. Phoenix raising kind of whatever poetry.
Cassie, you don't like movies, so what do you think about this whole story?
I feel like more movies in the MCU need to go down this route. I would love to continue to see these movies fail. So please continue to aim this low. It makes me happy to see, because maybe at some point we can move the fuck on to something else that actually maybe is worth time and effort. And you know, I found it interesting because what's her name? Forrest. I forget. No, what's her name? Judy Foster? JD Forster? Whatever the fuck.
Who are you talking about?
Yeah.
The actress, I forget her fucking name.
Well, what movie was she in?
Silence of the Lambs.
Jodie Foster.
Yeah, she was saying how, like, she thinks that these superhero flicks are past their prime at this point, and she's just waiting for them to be over. The sad reality is that we still have relatively competent actors that are literally rotting the fuck away, because the only thing that people seem to want to go to the movie theaters to see is these garbage dog shit superhero films. So while, you know, I mean, obviously individuals like Jodie Foster have indeed passed their prime, I'm still waiting for film to go back to a sense of or to at least go to a sense of being something that isn't superhero related, so that maybe some of these older talented actors can have an opportunity to do something that is worth a fuck for a change, because I feel like we haven't had that in 10 plus years. And while I don't think Jodie Foster is necessarily the cream of the crop, I think that she's a relatively competent actress that just doesn't fit in what modern day, you know, the cinema is demanding. So,
well, I would like to remind Cassie, and I don't know if this is what she's she's commenting on, that Annette Bening was in a Marvel movie, Glenn Close was in a Marvel movie, so we do have older actors popping up in these endeavors. When it comes to the Marvelettes failing in cinema, well, it did have some issues already before it started. I do believe in the superhero fatigue idea, because it came at the tail end of a list of Marvel and DC films that were just really bad, and for quote normies like me, we don't really know the difference between Marvel and DC. I mean, they're all comic book movies. They eventually start blending together. And I apologize to the purist who would denounce me for not knowing the difference between DC and Marvel, but you know, I really couldn't tell one from the other. And then we've still got one more. We still have one more, Aquaman, that's supposed to save cinema or save the box office this year. Good luck with that. So you had that. You had two characters that most people had never heard of, because they weren't going to be watching the Disney Plus shows. So this movie had a lot of issues already going into it. Just putting in whatever story there was, people don't really care, and obviously they didn't. And it's I think it's unfair to say, oh, it's because it's women. You know, it's a women-led film. No, everyone will go watch. Wasn't it reported that the majority of the people who went to see this movie, that again was targeted towards women, majority of the viewers were men. So men are not averse to seeing a female-led film. They just weren't interested in seeing a film with two characters that they didn't know and one character that they really didn't care about. So it had all of these issues, and people just no longer care the way that they did in the beginning. But who knows? Maybe if that Musical Planet, maybe on Musical Planet, if you had Harry Styles, his generation's Gene Kelly pop up, maybe that would have drawn more interest instead of whoever they brought in. You never know, because he is part of the Marvel universe. Remember that Harry Styles is part of the Marvel universe, and he was, I think, 11 years old when this whole thing started. So it just tells you how long this thing is.
Anyway, Nerdigans, are you still with us? I want to get her insight in here.
Yeah, I'm here. I think the whole thing that's funny about the whole Brie Larson thing is she's going to be remembered for residing on Kevin Feige's couch and for having one of the worst face sculpts I've ever seen from Bam Presto. Japan can't even make Brie Larson look good. That is sad, because they've made some fantastic face sculpts of IRL actors. Like, for example, they released a figure or like images for the One Piece live action actors for Luffy, and it looks exactly like the actor. Brie Larson's, I don't know who the hell that is, but it ain't her. It looks so bad. It looks like a man. It is terrible.
There's only one way that they're going to be able to save this franchise after this epic disaster, and we've all been thinking it for a while, so might as well just say it. Brie Larson's going to have to get a Brazilian butt lift. That's the only thing that's going to draw anyone to the movie theaters at this point.
No, you know what will save it? Echo, the film. Echo will save the Marvel Cinematic Universe and will restore. Yes, and it will restore it to its former glory. Echo.
You know, for Christmas, I'm gonna get you guys all T-shirts that say, "What would Echo do?" If you guys have to wear it on the show.
We can always add more blue dongs.
How many tacos do you think Brie Larson needs to drop before the MCU could be saved?
I think that number is immeasurable.
But you know, was it? I saw there were reports that they were working. What was it on Shang-Chi 2? It's going to be released in like 2027 or something like that. And people are still.
This is where we're at now, though. It's like all of a sudden, it's like, hey guys, we're going to get this other vague B-list superhero in 2028. Can't wait. It's like, oh great, maybe 40 when that movie comes out. It's going to be great.
Yes, oh yes, Hyder.
I just want to point out that in China, Xi Jinping, the dictator there, Chairman Xi, has ordered in schools no Western media allowed. Now, if children are, and you've seen some of the footage come out of there, I'm sure, children are regimented there. They're not just like, oh, no, sweetie, we're not doing the USA Halloween thing this year. They're regimented on why that's not happening. That the corruption of the West exists in this media, and this is why we're not allowed to talk about it at school. So guess what? Your Shang-Chi superhero movie in China? Not gonna happen.
And you know how far we've fallen as a nation. Like 40 years ago, we've been like, no, we need to go send our media to those kids over there in China because they need to watch movies like Bloodsport. We can't deprive them of such awesome entertainment that we're enjoying here. Now, 40 years later, we're like, yeah, that's probably for the best. I'm not even going to fight too hard about that. I mean, who really wants to watch Shang-Chi 2 at this point?
All of them. Shang-Chi 2, Eternals 2. All of these other, I mean, that's just the movies. We've got the TV shows. We've got Echo. We've got, was it Ironheart? I don't think that's going. I don't know if that's going.
Ironheart, I think, has been pushed back to like 20.
Agatha, whatever the hell her name is.
Yeah.
Agatha, the bewitched lady who winks at you. All of these.
That's all I know about that thing.
Yeah.
Now, I do just want to point out that both of our female panelists have checked out during this conversation. Well, no. If this is supposed to be made for women, these two should be like, no, you guys don't get it. It's this, that, and the next thing. It was signaling this, but you're male presenting, so you don't understand. You know that? No, they've checked out. Nerdigans has gone off somewhere. Cassie's having a conversation with somebody else completely, or she's gaming. I don't know, probably both.
And both too busy playing with their pussies to pay attention to what we're talking about here. I mean,
the cats.
Yes,
the cats.
the cats.
Wow.
But the that they should really have rushed to the Marvelettes because they had cats in those movies.
That's
and
true.
they even had memory play during a dramatic moment. So of course they should have been rushing to see this if they're the literal cat ladies here.
But that's what I'm saying.
Here's how I'm gonna go ahead and end this show here, because we've been talking about all these bad, terrible movies all night. We've been talking about the Marvels and that Furiosa crappy movie that she was in when they were trying to make her seem like Jean-Claude Van Damme. Let's go watch a trailer for an actual Jean-Claude Van Damme movie back when we were a proper country. Here's a movie that's gonna lift all our spirits up. This is Lionheart.
They think they can get away with murder.
Oh my God!
This
Whoa.
is gasoline.
But they didn't count on one thing.
Does he have any other relatives? Anyone else?
The French Foreign Legion.
Help?
You gave up your family when you joined the Legion.
I never gave up my family. He's trained to fight for his life.
The French way.
He's fighting for revenge.
Just tell her Joshua's here with somebody I think she'd like to meet.
Sure you want to mess up that face, handsome?
They think it's a game.
Hey, I got 3-1 against Lionheart.
He's playing for keeps. But now, he's facing the ultimate challenge.
A born killer, not some bum that picked off the street.
Well, this dude's already bad. 8 bodies.
Beat the guy, I have to. The rules are simple.
There's no rules.
The stakes are high.
What I did tonight, I did for my family.
You win. You live.
Now what's it gonna be?
You lose. You die.
It's going to be simple.
Van Damme is Lionheart.
I love Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yep.
Now,
see that's what they thought Mad Max was going to look like to the rest of the world.
Now
that's what they thought we were going to see.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, actually, he's Belgian, if I understand it correctly. He's not French.
He is.
So, he would have been a great Hercule Poirot because he's Belgian and he's short, just like Hercule Poirot. But secondly, look, Van Damme, people can look down on his movies, but the public made him a star. They embraced him and they embraced his type of film. And so that's why he was able to have a successful career for a long time. And I think, he's kind of gone up and down, but no one has really embraced the Marvels. They haven't embraced the characters. They haven't embraced anything post Endgame, because again, Endgame was for many people the end. I mean, that was when they should have concluded it. Maybe released a film every so often, but Disney and Marvel and Feige, in their arrogance.
Did you really go back to talking about the Marvels again after we just played a Van Damme trailer?
Yes.
He's done. So we'll go ahead and end this show.
That's the anxiety. That's the anxiety of everything right there. Holy crap. It just raised my blood pressure.
Vietnam flashbacks, man.
I know.
So we'll go ahead and shoot over to our buddy Cider here as we go ahead and sign off and let people know what we got coming up. So Cider, what do you got coming up here, my friend?
I'm over on Bounding Into Comics YouTube channel. You can see me talk lackadaisically about the articles that everyone worked really hard on. I'm cool like that, I'm cool like that. But tomorrow is the second episode of the new 01 thing that we do over on the Bounding Into Comics channel as well. So feel free to tune into whatever that is, and it'll probably be fun in the beginning anyway. Maybe we'll get tired halfway through. Who knows?
All right. Make it short.
Haikus reviews.
Nice. Or chat, what you got coming up?
Well, I got my Tuesday theme streams this month is debating the merits of Christmas movies that are not, or either are or not Christmas movies. They're debatable Christmas movies. I did Die Hard earlier. Sundays are weekly recaps, where kind of like this, but on Sundays instead, and on my channel. I give my thoughts on what has been going on during the week, what's been reported. Wednesdays and Thursdays in the December 20th or December 20 areas, before and after Christmas, me and Mara on Jade Shadow are going to be discussing Gremlins 1 and 2 for the 1s and 2s, and Krampus and Violent Night for the singles on my channel on Thursdays. And let's see here. Other than that, next Tuesday is Lethal Weapon the debate on whether or not it is a Christmas movie. So, yeah.
Answer, no. Eddie Brock, you joined us here, graced us on our program here tonight. So we'll go ahead and promote anything you got coming up, my friend.
Promote something. I think Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie, honestly. I mean, that whole scene where he's like slapping the guy and everything. I mean, it's just iconic, and it's
Yeah, and Rocky's a Thanksgiving movie anyway.
Right. What do I promote? I'm restarting at the beginning of next year. I'm going to be restarting a wrestling podcast that I used to have back in 2017.
Why?
So I should have something to promote. And let me see. Everyone check out the Dank stream. That's always cool. I show up there every once in a while. And the best comic book movie is American Splendor.
All right, then.
Sorry.
Nerdigans asking us with our presents again, so go tell people what you're working on.
Sorry, I'm trying to do something for bounding because I'm getting readjusted to everything that's been happening over there. But I'm also in a war against the YouTube algorithm. I've been
Same.
Well, yeah, I actually did I live chatted with them like 3 times already. I escalated it, and based on what happened the 4th time, they said they pushed my stuff like over 1 million times now. So I've made progress. So the views have not gone up as much as I'd like them to, but at least I've gotten something done. But yeah, I record anime and manga content every day on my channel. We're going to be doing some Jump Festa stuff because that is next week. I'm really excited for that. And on top of that, until everything is settled with bounding, I got to do job hunting on top of that. And that is not going very well. But I'll do what I can to be on here next week. It's just a very, very rough and stressful time right now. But it is what it is. And also, what?
I'll say this. You're going through a tough time right now, but let me just go ahead and reassure you that no matter what is happening in your life right now, my show is the #1 priority. So you need to get your stuff together and be on here next week. So and on that note, I guess we'll hop over to Cassie. What you got coming up here, Cassie?
Well, I just uploaded a fuck ton of GTA videos on my channel, so check it out on Cold Classic Cage. Tomorrow, instead of Thursday, I'll be live streaming where we talk about the Twilight Zone of gaming. So if you're into that, definitely tune into the channel. And Thursday is the Game Awards, so me and my buddies, we will be live streaming and laughing at that bullshit. So if you're into making fun of corporate gaming, well, definitely tune in with me and the homies.
All right. Thank you, Clement. And we'll go ahead and let you guys know what we got coming up here on this show. This Friday night, we're going to be doing another movie night, and this is probably a movie that even Cassie will enjoy. We're going to be watching Escape from New York. So we're going to be watching an 80s movies classic this Friday night at 10 p.m. So definitely join us for that one because you're definitely not going to miss that one.
Some good films. Holy shit.
Yep. Believe it or not, after a year and a half, actually like 2 years now, we still have not landed on Tremors. So I just don't know what to tell you. It's still on the wheel, but we haven't landed on it yet. I feel like we're just putting that on there just to tease Rob at this point.
I watched Friday Foster for the first time, and I absolutely fucking loved it. All right, Pam Grier's the fucking queen.
God, you and
Yes.
Okay, back over
Yeah.
here. So that's coming on Friday night. I'm next Saturday night we're gonna be doing a UFC stream. So not this Saturday night, but next Saturday night we will. I'm also trying to organize right now our best and worst movie review show as well. I'm gonna try to see if I can get Christian Toto and Chris Gore to join us on the show for that one, and a few other people who will be here to talk about their best and worst films of 2023. So organizing that right now. Monday night will be the Bible Lens podcast. We did a very humorous episode of the Bible Lens podcast last night, myself and Connor, so I'll definitely check that one out. Hopefully John Trent joins us on Monday. I did invite him. He hasn't assured me that he's going to be here, but we're going to have a discussion one way or another about the Protestant and the Catholic view of Mary, so I hope to have him on for that show on Monday night. And then of course next Tuesday we'll be back here, episode 78 of the Barroom podcast. That's everything I got coming up. And by the way, just in case you haven't realized, now I'm also doing movie reviews for the Bounty and the Comics YouTube channel. We already posted the Godzilla review. We have a couple more coming down the pike. I have a couple more reviews to work on editing as well. So I'm actually enjoying the process of video editing now that I actually learn how some of this stuff here works. So it's getting a lot smoother, and I'm hoping to do a lot more of those. So go check us out over there. Then of course tomorrow night on the 01 podcast, we did a great show last week, so hoping to follow that up with one tomorrow night, myself, Cider, Spencer, and Josh. So that's all that we got coming up here for my entire panel here. I thank you for joining me here on another Tuesday night. For everyone out in the chat, this is where I give you guys a quick little shout out before we head out here for the night. So of course Neozoic, Vanya, Duke Nukem, DK, Retro Neon, JEC. Who else do we have on here tonight? Kate for joining us. Dustin's joining us. Eddie Ice Productions joining us here tonight. Who else we have? Mephisto's Movie Reviews, who joined us on the show. Spencer, Josh, obviously. Bonya Rad joining us here tonight. Joanna Shipley. Energy, who's joined us on the show here tonight. Make sure I didn't miss anyone. Tactus Jones, obviously. Yeah, a few people joining us on Rumble throughout the course of the night as well. And I think that was pretty. So everyone who joined us on here, hopefully you guys will join us Friday night for Escape from New York, Monday night for the Bible Lens, or next Tuesday night here for the show. But we're getting here. We're out of here. I'm going to go ahead and hit the outro and leave. So wave to the crowd. Everyone, good night. We will see you guys later on. Goodbye. Adios. Outro time.
Yeah. It's over. Go home.
Get the hell out! Get out! Get out! Get out!
Okay.
Get out! Get out! You get the hell out!
Never mind who you thought I was. I'm Rick James, bitch.